Welcome back to Chapter 17, Part 3. We're in vertebrates and we're moving on to amphibians. So we just looked at fish, which were in water, and amphibians are partially on water and on land. Amphi means partial, so they're partly water, partly land. They do need water to reproduce, though. Their eggs will dry out otherwise. So amphibians were the first vertebrates to colonize land. So they descended from ancestors that were similar to those lungfishes, and their fins had muscles and bony developments. That's where they found the Tiktaalik. That was an early amphibian. So what's a tetrapod? Tetra 4, pods feet. It means 4 legs. So tetrapods have 4 legs. After amphibians, you've got reptilia, reptiles. So snakes, lizards, turtles, crocodiles, alligators, and birds. Aves birds are part of reptiles. And they have their eggs with the amniotic sac. They can live totally on land. They are not dependent on water to reproduce. So how did they adapt to living completely terrestrially on land? Well, they have scales to prevent water loss, dehydration. They have lungs to breathe to get oxygen in. The amniotic egg. So now their egg is in a shell with an amniotic sac that the developing zygote embryo feeds on. That doesn't require external water sources. So non-bird reptiles are called ectotherms, which means they maintain their body heat based on their environments. So like a lizard has to sit on a rock when it's hot out to warm up. When garter snakes come out all at once at the beginning of the spring frost so that they can mate with a female, they have to come out and warm up in the sun before they can actively mate. So if anybody gets out too late, they don't have a shot to reproduce that year. It's because they get their body heat from their external environment. Reptiles diversified in the Mesozoic. And birds evolved from dinosaur ancestors. So birds, aves, they can fly. Their bones are lightweight. They're able to use their feathers to fly. Yep, those bones are lightweight. They're honeycombed. They've got like spaces in there. They've reduced their organs. And then they also have a constant body temperature that they control. Just like us, they're endotherms. Endo in its thermi, temperature, inner temperature. So they maintain it themselves. So think about the things that you do when you need to change your body temperature. So birds have the same sort of principles. They get lift just like an airplane when they fly. Frigate birds are large birds that are generally seen in marine areas. They can fly for up to like 6 months based on flying properties and how they glide along the stream of air. And now mammalia. So these are mammals. Their closest ancestors were the same ancestors as reptiles, about 225 million years ago. And most mammals are terrestrial. There are very few aquatic, but we'll look at some of those too. So what makes us mammals? Our hair and our mammary glands that produce milk. So there are 3 major groups of mammals. You might be surprised to hear that. The first is monotremes. These are actually mammals that lay eggs. This is an echidna. You can look at a true facts of the echidna. That one's pretty fun. And next you've got marsupials, the pouch mammals. So that's a small offspring that's always attached to the nipple as it grows until it becomes more developed. There's no placenta there. And last you've got eutherians or placental mammals. So the placenta forms around the fetus as it grows, takes over hormonal control during pregnancy, and then the childbirth occurs and you've got a fully developed offspring. So there's the baby zebra. and you can see the placenta there. It's rich in nutrients. Most animals will eat their placenta. I've seen a horse placenta in a 5-gallon bucket. That was pretty cool. There is an old wives' tale that placenta will help mothers with postpartum depression if they eat it. It's only found a placebo effect, where if you think it will help you, it will. So if you don't think it'll help you, don't try it, because it won't. You can find placenta in hair products because it is high in protein. And some animals that are mammals are what are called precocious. So precocious means that they're very ready to go at a young age. So like a baby zebra can be running around very quickly. That's precocious. It needs that so it can avoid predators. Whereas like human offspring or kittens, they are not precocious. Their eyes are closed, they're unable to defend themselves. That would be considered altricial for the kittens. So that's the general information on mammals. Now let's talk a little bit about human ancestry. We're going to look at primate evolution. So humans are primates, and it helps us understand like our origins. So primates evolved from insect-eating mammals during the late Cretaceous, about 100 million years ago. It's a long time ago. And early primates, they were small, arboreal. That means they lived in trees. And then we see all these different adaptations occur to help live in trees more easily. So what do those characteristics include? Limber shoulder joints, so they can turn and grab onto vines. Eyes in the front of the face, better vision for where you're going. Excellent eye-hand coordination, so you can transfer from one to the other and not fall. And we see extensive parental care. So these offspring require a lot of energy input to be likely to succeed later. So there are two primate divisions, prosimians and arthropods. So prosimians, like lemurs, lorises, tarsiers, are found throughout Africa and Asia, and they're the only primates that are on Madagascar natively. If you have time, you should look up the eye. There's a True Facts video on them. Their middle finger is really long and skinny so that they can fit it into tree bark to capture insect prey. Many of these are nocturnal or active at night. So anthropoids are the next ones. They are anthropoids-like, so they're people-like. So you've got your monkeys, your old world monkeys and your new world monkeys. Examples of old world baboons and macaques. So like baboons live in Africa. They're very social and very aggressive, living in groups. Old world live in Asia and Africa. New world, they live in South America. There you'll have monkeys that have prehensile tails. That's the only group that has those long tails that can grab onto trees. New World monkeys are also dichromatic in their vision, so they can see two different colors. Whereas like us, Old World have trichromatic. They can see three colors, red, green, and blue. Next we have apes. Those are our closest living relatives, but it's not like we descended from apes. We have common ancestors. So you've got orangutans and chimps and gorillas, for example. They all have really interesting social structures that differ by species. So we branched out. Our common ancestors were about 5 to 7 million years ago. So there's been 5 million years without any. It's a long time. So that common misconception I was discussing before, we aren't like brothers of chimpanzees. We're more like very distant cousins. We didn't come from chimpanzees. We didn't come from any modern monkeys or apes. We share common ancestors. Okay, I hope you enjoyed learning about animals. I could have talked about them for the whole semester. They're so interesting. If you have any questions or you want to look at more, feel free to ask or share any cool sites that you find.